Red Square is one of the oldest and largest squares in Moscow, the capital of Russia. Owing to its historical significance and the adjacent historical buildings, it is regarded as one of the most famous squares in Europe and the world. It is located in Moscow's historic center, in the eastern walls of the Kremlin. It is the city landmark of Moscow, with iconic buildings such as St. Basil's Cathedral, Lenin's Mausoleum and the GUM. In addition, it has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1990. The Red Square has an almost rectangular shape and is 70 meters wide and 330 meters long. It extends lengthways from northwest to southeast along part of the wall of the Kremlin that forms its boundary on the southwest side. In the northeast, the square is bounded by the GUM department store building and the old district of Kitai-Gorod, in the northwest by the State Historical Museum and the Resurrection Gate, and in the southeast by St. Basil's Cathedral. Tverskaya Street begins to the northwest of the square behind the building of the State Historical Museum. And to the southeast is the so-called Basil slope, which leads to the Moskva River, which goes down and over a bridge to the Zamoskvorechi district. Two streets branch off to the northeast from Red Square: Nikolskaya Street, which is named after the Nicholas Tower of the Kremlin, which is directly opposite, and the Ilyinka, both of which have existed since the 14th century and were once important arteries of old Moscow. Today the square itself, with the exception of the access road leading through it to the Savior Gate of the Kremlin, is a pedestrian zone. The main squares in Russian cities, such as those in Suzdal, Yelets, and Peroslavl-Zaleski, are frequently named Krasnaya Ploshchad, or Beautiful Square. Archaically, the Russian word, Krasnaya, meant beautiful, but now means red, with the current word for beautiful, Krasivaya, being derived from it. The history of Red Square is reflected in paintings by Vasily Surikov, Konstantin Owing and others. The square was meant to serve as Moscow's main marketplace. It was also the site of various public ceremonies and proclamations, and occasionally a coronation for Russia's czars would take place. The square has been gradually built up since that point and has been used for official ceremonies by all Russian governments since it was established.